If you're into the worlds of Warhammer 40k or Helldivers, then I've got something you're gonna love. Hey people, voice talking to you, and this is Space Tales, a new retro-future sci-fi horde survival RTS set in a goofy yet horrifying dystopian universe. If you'd like to check this game out for yourself or support the devs, I'll have a link for you down in the description, and right next to that is a link to my full playthrough stream just in case you'd like to see more gameplay and my first impressions. The universe of Space Tales is surprisingly well crafted, and we're treated to some awesome exposition with top-notch voice acting and delightful artwork as the game opens.
The once thriving planet, Earth, now lies abandoned as humanity has ventured to new frontiers.
As humanity left behind an Earth devoid of resources and began to spread themselves across the stars, terrible wars began to break out over territory and materials. In an effort to outpace each other, human factions dug deeper into planets and asteroids than ever before, eventually awakening an ancient and horrifying alien species known as the Nestor. These squid-like monstrosities can spread their tentacles to cover entire planets and can move from planet to planet by infesting and piloting asteroids. The Nestor are functionally similar to the Tyranids from Warhammer 40k, which makes them all the more terrifying. They seek only to consume and reproduce, working as a singular hive mind with no second thoughts about sacrificing or recycling its own members. This hive mind rapidly became the largest threat to humanity the galaxy had ever seen, and so they reunited under the rule of a single AI entity, giving the Interplanetary Expansion Effort, or IPE, complete control over military, social policy, and the daily lives of all humankind. The IPE has no regard for human life, however, and seeks only to expand and conquer new worlds in the name of humanity. We join the conflict as Commander Xander Falcon, a rising star in the IPE military. As the son of a legendary general, we seek to make our own name by adventuring across the stars and pushing the boundaries of the human empire. I love it. This goofy suit, man. Now, that's already a pretty solid, juicy story, especially for an RTS and a demo at that. So how does the gameplay stack up? Well, the tutorial wasn't the most helpful or insightful as to how things worked. I mean, the walkthrough in the story mode was a bit better, but overall things need to be explained a bit more clearly. Depending on the mission at hand, the goals will change, and most will even have side objectives we can seek out to alter the outcomes of the level or earn additional rewards. First and foremost, though, we have to keep our base and Commander Xander in one piece. Now, that's not going to be an easy task when the alien monsters fuse to the planet itself, see us as just a quick snack. To train troops and construct buildings, we need concrete, metal, and glass, all of which can be processed from chronite deposits found around the map. We can change which resource each refinery is processing at any time from the refinery menu. This is one of those things that's never really explained and is really confusing since there seems to be 3 different kinds of refineries, but once you understand what it's doing, it's quite intuitive, actually. All right, listen, you gotta throw me a bone here. Are they all the same building? What's the difference? Help me out here. Of course, everything has to be on our power network, so placing and defending hubs will expand our reach. The interesting thing is, the level of our base and our troop cap are directly related to how much territory we control with these hubs, so expansion is literally paramount to success. Speaking of troops, our little pseudo-space marines are going to be our primary means of both offense and defense. We can turn a limited number of hubs into turrets, which is also extremely expensive, and our walls soon to be made of nothing but styrofoam. Seriously, you'll need like 5 layers of this stuff for monsters to chew on if you want them to be worth it, and they will need constant replacing. We do get access to these little guys called Guardians who can burrow into the ground and serve as turrets, which is neat, but for the rest of our troops, they'll also need constant replacing. Oh god. Please stop eating my men. I don't know what their weird little egg suits are made of, but I think it's mostly just to make them feel cool, since our healers fly around just fine in nothing but a skimpy nurse outfit. In their defense, though, they do look pretty cool. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Space King, the spoof 40k animations, but the goofy armor suits the soldiers wear are just like their egg outfits. I'll leave a link to those animations in the description too, just in case you're interested. Actually, I'd like to say I really love the overall style of the units, both allied and enemy. It's textbook retro sci-fi with weird laser zappers, and they even tie it into the lore with these replaceable zapper bulbs. The enemy aliens can be really freaky too, including hordes of these little leech-like larvae and floating psychic brain monsters. All very Warhammer. But all of our units are relatively weak compared to the enemy, so in a classic human strategy, we overpower them by making expendable soldiers in absurd numbers to throw at them until they're either full of holes or full of delicious human soup. We do have the option of building a lab to upgrade our troops' armor and weapons, as well as choosing an upgrade path for each troop structure to produce more advanced soldiers and war machines. There's also research points scattered throughout each level that we can collect and spend to upgrade units between levels, selecting from one of 2 skill branches to suit our playstyle. On top of the decent variety of units, most of them have an active ability that can be used in combat. Nurses, for example, can throw healing grenades, while Xander can fire a hail of shotgun shells. What's more, certain elite monsters boast boss mechanics like telegraphed area attacks to avoid or weak points that need to be hit before they can be damaged directly. Some of these monsters can even be captured and summoned back to the battlefield as part of our own army with their own experience system and devastating powers. In between missions, we can combine and upgrade these monsters as well. All of this, paired with the constant waves of enemies targeting our base, makes moment-to-moment gameplay incredibly chaotic and never boring. Even the terrain holds secret dangers that could end the run of any player foolish enough not scouted first. I can't imagine who would do that. What's this? Now, there are some pretty huge oversights with these combat systems, mainly in the form of UI gore and quality of life. If you have a unit selected but mouse over your command center, they are automatically deselected for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's pretty frustrating. The most frustrating issue, however, comes when using more than one type of unit at a time. In selected squads containing more than one type of troop, the player only has access to the strongest unit's abilities, which doesn't make sense since there is room in the HUD for several and they're all bound to unique hotkeys anyways. That means players have to swap back and forth between several squads all made up of different units if they want to use their different abilities, which is a major hassle in such a fast-paced and complex combat system. Even with the jank and unfriendly controls, I had a ton of fun with this game. It's got a good story, a hilarious sense of satire, tons of crazy mechanics with tactical depth, and a wonderfully unique style that complements its inspirations while still providing a new experience. Personally, I can't wait to see how this game develops, but I'm also just the voice in your head. So what are your thoughts on Space Tales? Do you like the retro future style? Are you happy to see new takes on 40k, or do you want something a bit more original? Is this one going in your wish list, or are you gonna pass? Let's talk down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leaving a like helps the channel through the algorithm and earns me another badge for my spacesuit. If you want to see more, subscribing is the best way to support the channel and keep new content coming your way because I put out new stuff every week. Thanks so much for listening to me today, and you'll be hearing from me again real soon. What is that? Whoa! What? Okay, well, I guess I should have learned from the corpses.